Battle Stadium has the steepest gradient between what I paid for an NES version in a store and what I paid for the Famicom version, and not in the usual direction. My NES copy of Super Spy Hunter cost $3. My Famicom version was around 40,000 yen. Prices on the NES version have increased sharply over the past 10 years, but it's still nowhere near the Famicom version, which ranks among the most expensive Famicom games to acquire. The plot of the game is that Gene the Courier was hired to test drive the super weapon Battle Formula. Turns out that the people who hired him were terrorists, so he steals the supercar and goes on a cross-country rampage. There are 6 stages in Battle Formula. Okay, 5 stages and 1 really long boss rush. Battle Formula is I guess I'd call it a run-and-gun, but it's a lot closer to a shoot-'em-up. It's just that you control your forward speed. You press up to accelerate, down to brake, and you can bring the car to just about a complete halt. The vehicle has a turret mounted on the back. It has 3 guns on it, one of which always fires forward, and the other 2 have adjustable angles. Holding down the A button will make them rotate around you. As you shoot your way through stages, there are semis that you can destroy to get power-ups. The red ones have permanent power-ups, while the blue semis have one-shot items. From the red semis, you can get an R that increases the rate of fire of your guns, a P that transforms your vehicle and makes the shots more powerful, an L that increases the length of your life bar and heals you to maximum. You start out with 4 ticks of life, and the maximum life bar is 12. You'll want to collect this one twice to max it out. The final item that drops from the red semis is the C, and it's the most useful item in the game. It makes your turrets auto-target things. No more trying to rotate things into position for you, just drive and shoot. If you collect it a second time, it turns the auto-targeting off. There are a lot more items that drop from the blue truck than the red truck. The L restores life, but doesn't increase the maximum, and the 1-up, of course, gives you an extra life. The other 4 items are special attack items. You only get 1 shot with them, and you activate them by hitting A. O is an oil slick you drop behind your car. It only works on ground targets, so it's not the most useful of items. T gives you spinning blades on your tires. Again, only affects ground targets, but at least here it lasts a while, and it's a lot easier to attack people with it. The G makes the turret fly off the car and fly around the area. It's a cute trick, but I found it more useful to have the turret attached to the car so that I could aim. And the final item from the blue semis is the B, which flashes the screen and destroys all of the enemies. That's probably the one you're going to want to use. The stages in Battle Formula are mazes. You'll come to a fork in the road and you have to take the correct path, otherwise you'll loop forever. So don't just do the obvious thing and stick with the same direction. The stages have some pretty crazy obstacles. In the desert you'll find these pits that will knock 4 points off your maximum health bar if you collide with them. You have to go slow through those sections, otherwise you're going to wind up in a pit before you see it. On this stage there's an ice storm that will blow your car around, and even without the wind you're sliding everywhere. And here you undergo a series of jumps that launch your car into the stratosphere, and then you have to land on the road once it reappears. At points the car can transform into a jet or a boat, but even as a boat you have to stay on the road. The bosses in Battle Formula are amazing. Right from the start, they're all enormous multi-phase machines of destruction. This semi is the first stage boss, and it rushes down to slam into you, and if you touch it at all, you're pushed so far back that you have no chance to avoid getting slammed. This boss rushes down on top of you, and you have to drive in between his treads. As you destroy bits of his armor plating, you get more and more room to maneuver. And this boss fires enormous laser beams that destroy you instantly, but you can destroy the beam emitters and then have to destroy the armored plates to get at his core. Battle Formula is a pretty difficult game, and once you're destroyed, you're back down to your basic power level, which just makes it harder. You can pause the game and enter this cheat, and it'll power your car up quite a bit. Not quite to maximum, but close. You're given 5 lives, and you have 5 continues, and that's it. However, on the continue screen, if you hit the A button 8 times, that will rotate the turret so it points down. Instead of continuing, you play Pong against the computer. And if you manage to beat it, then you continue with 20 lives, but if you lose, you continue with no extra lives. The Pong is actually kind of difficult as the ball speeds up a lot, and it doesn't seem to always collide with the paddle properly. Also, a wall sometimes appears between the players, and you have to keep the ball going just on your side before it disappears again. You can get the extra lives, but it's going to take some practice before you can do it. There's one more trick you could use to get extra lives at the start of the game. Hold down Select and press Start, and you'll get this rolling roulette of numbers that determine how many lives you begin with. It could be as many as 12, could be as few as 1. Battle Formula is considered to be one of the Famicom's masterpieces in Japan, a game that really shows off what the hardware is capable of. Those curves look really impressive, even if you are in fact always going in a straight line. This really is one of the more spectacular games on the Famicom, and it happens to be a lot of fun to play. But it will also provide you with an enormous challenge. I wouldn't say it's worth the price that it's going for, but it is worth checking out if you could use other means.